Have you ever woke up in the middle of a dream and the dream was so interesting that you wanted to go back to sleep to see the end of it? If so, what was the dream? Subscribe to Red Bug Buzz and ring the bell to get notified.
1. Not PewDiePie. A long time ago, I had a dream that there were ghosts living in my family's garage. Nowhere else, just the garage. I somehow became friends with one, but she was unable to speak to me, leave the property that the house was on, and wasn't able to show any facial expressions that wouldn't be considered terrifying. Me and my ghost friend were playing on the house porch and two guys were trying to break into the house. She tried to stop them by scaring the living heck out of them by making a terrifying face and screaming the most blood-curdling scream ever right in their faces. I wasn't able to see the face she made, but I somehow knew it was there, and all I could hear was the scream. The people trying to rob the house ran off, but instead of celebrating, I curled up and started crying because of how terrifying the scream was. I absolutely loved that ghost, and I forgot that her whole purpose was to scare people, but she did it to protect me in the house. I still cried though, and she tried to cheer me up the best way she could. Then I woke up. I knew that was a dream, but I didn't want to leave my ghost friend alone knowing the last time she saw me was when she scared me to tears by accident. I tried to go back to sleep, and I did, and I somehow successfully re-entered the dream, only it was several years in the future. The garage still had a couple of ghosts in it, but not nearly as much, and the rest seemed to be oblivious to humans. I was going into the attic and found some pictures in there of me around the age I was friends with the ghost, and on a picture I saw a very faint image of her face standing next to me. I went down the attic and woke up. I didn't get to tell the ghost that I forgive her or anything, and I still feel some sort of emotional attachment to her. It was probably the best nightmare I've ever had, and one of the dreams I've wanted to go back to the most, just so I can tell her that there are no hard feelings. Edit. Thanks for comments everyone. I was just procrastinating and scrolling through Reddit and saw this post and thought, oh yeah, that happened to me once. I was seriously not thinking much of it and wasn't expecting this many people to be interested in it. This has made my day. How many people have interest in this? Thanks. Another edit for good reasons, for y'all out there. This is about my dream where ghosts exist and one of them I became friends with. I appreciate the support in the comments, but please stop wishing, hoping that we meet in real life. A ghost is a ghost. I would feel physically ill if I saw a ghost, wholesome or not. Thank you for your time. 2. Joyda. My situation was a bit different. I was once having a pretty vivid nightmare about a zombie apocalypse. In the dream, I was running from a horde and I ducked into a random house. Time then passed, in the dream, and I put my head down to rest while I listened to growls coming from outside. At that exact second I woke up. I was relieved that it was just a dream because it seemed so real. However, about 10 minutes later I fell back to sleep and the dream actually resumed. I remember thinking, oh my god, this isn't a dream. Within the dream, the rest was even more vivid and terrifying because I was convinced it was real. That was a pretty tough night, but it was interesting how my dream managed to resume itself, and it did it in such a way that I was convinced the incident was actually happening. My small 10-minute wake-up period seemed like the dream. 3. Not Josh Romney. I had a dream a few years back that I was at this party and met a girl. We hit it off, really connected on a lot of things. But then it hit me. I was dreaming. I told her that I was bummed because I just realized it was a dream. She didn't believe me, so I asked her what her last name was. She just stared at me blankly. I told her she didn't know cause my brain hadn't given her a last name, but that we should just enjoy the time we have together. Then I woke up and fell back to sleep. I was at another house party. I remember walking around sort of aimlessly until I saw her. She remembered me and we spent the rest of the dream hanging out and holding hands and whatnot. Afterwards, it kinda F'd me up for a few days. 4. MiGC 123. When I was a child, I had this reoccurring vivid dream of my mom buying a new can opener. It legit felt like just a normal day. My ad was making fun of how it looked, my older brother was teasing her for needing an electric can opener now, my mom insisted it was all the rage, and I laughed. It was all fun. Then, when she used it, the entire thing started to release a thick smoke that covered every surface as it flowed out. The smoke filled the entire room, and as it touched people they turned to stone. My brain even created the sounds of my dad and brother being turned to stone as I ran away. I was able to make it under the corner computer desk and watch the fog creep up around me. My mom falls to the ground reaching for me, and I watch her eyes as she turns to stone. Being about 8 years old at the time, this was absolutely horrifying. As I sat there sobbing, the cliché grey alien with the big head and big eyes slowly puts his fingers around the desk and leans over the edge to look at me. Every single time, this is where I woke up. Those cold, dark eyes. For a week, being an introvert child, with an insomniac dad who had sleep apnea, running to my parents' room was not an option, because in my head I'd be in trouble if I woke him up. So I'd just sit in my room and cry to myself, as I tried to process watching all my family die in front of me. After several days without sleep, I just got pissed off. I put myself to bed that night. Sat there in the dark for a good 10 minutes. Told myself over and over, they aren't getting you this time. Aliens aren't real, you're going to stop them. When I finally fall asleep, everything happens the same, and as I'm sitting under the desk crying, I gain some lucidity. Aliens aren't real. The fingers start to wrap around the desk, and out jumps my older brother for a gotcha moment. I scream, we fight, and the day goes on. Never had the dream since. Also leveled up my sleep skill, and can have lucid dreams now. 5. DC Photo 78. I used to have lucid dreams in my early to mid-20s. As soon as I'd realize I was asleep, I'd start flying, or just rising to the ceiling, because it was a cool way to test it. Then, my immediate thought would be, who should I pretend sleep with? And the excitement over that possibility woke me up every damn time. 6. Wo0ZYY. Not one single dream, but often I'll dream that I've met a girl that I'm madly in love with, and when I wake up, I feel like I've lost a soulmate. Really strange and sort of depressing. 7. Dandelions. My ex and I got back together, and she told me she's pregnant. I felt happy and fulfilled like never before. After I woke up, the entire day was so ruined I didn't even know how to deal with it. Just wanted to dream for the rest of my life. 8. Aqualskills. This one is a bit long and I tried to keep it as short as I could, but still get my point across. I once had a dream where I was running through this empty warehouse trying to get to the end, to reach some sort of goal. I never understood what I was trying to reach, or even what the goal was, but all I knew was, I had to reach the end. I ended up slipping and falling to my death down some stairs. When I woke up I was such in a panic that I wouldn't be able to reach my goal, unless I fell back asleep right away. I did, but this time I took the elevator. Still ended up dying, but I fell back asleep right away. A few tries later, I was trying to jump out of the elevator before it dropped, and I ended up getting cut in half. However, this time I fell back asleep. I was in the hallway I was trying to reach from the elevator. Unfortunately, I was stopped by a person. I call this person my dream script supervisor, who wouldn't let me past, and kept asking me strange questions on how I managed to survive everything that was killing me. I would just tell them I was fine, and just to let me finish this so I can get to the goal. Then finally, after a while of this back and forth, I was asked about my legs, and how could I be standing, if the elevator cut them off. Again, I was like, no, I'm fine, just let me pass. They put their hands on me and told me I had to look down before I could pass. So I did, and I just see the floor. No legs. But I angrily tell them I'm fine, and I have my legs, and I want to pass, so I can reach my goal. I try to push past the person, and when I go to take a step, they just whisper, "Where are your legs?" And perspective of my dream pulled out to show me just as a floating torso trying to push past this person. And I instantly wake up. I tried for hours to try and put myself back into that dream so I could reach my goal, but I wasn't. It still annoys me to this day that my goal was never defined. Why was I able to get back into that dream so many other time but not the last, and who was that person trying to stop me? 9. World's_best_coffee. I had a dream with opening credits once. It was a movie of the TV series, Home Improvement, with Tim Allen, but the movie took the series in a radical new direction. The Home Improvement actors were there, and all were playing the correct characters, but very early in the film, things go in a wild new direction. All of their hometown is invaded by an interdimensional warlord, who, using deep, dark magic, is taking the region and its resources back to his home dimension. Tim, Al, and Wilson are working to overthrow this army before they can complete a ritual to end up permanently in another world. They kill a few invading soldiers as they break onto the Tool Time set, and Tim uses more power and disposes of them. He and Al take their armor as disguises and weapons, as they are leaving the set, arguing over whether to go and get help, or go to Tim's home to check on his family. Wilson pulls up in an RV with the Taylor family in there. It was all shot with theatrical lighting and camera angles. None of it looked like a sitcom. I remember being completely riveted by the story I was watching, and in the closing moments of the third act. Dad woke me up to take the trash down to the curb. So very, very disappointed. Did you have a dream so interesting you wanted to go back into it? What happened when you tried to do it? Let us know in the comments below. We hope you enjoyed this presentation of content from Reddit. What do you want to see next? Make a suggestion in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to Redbug Buzz. Tap the bell to learn when the next video goes live.